Now, we started a conversation about empathetic AI. So, for the audience who don't know, perhaps the difference, they know empathy, but they don't know how it relates um, to AI per se. So why don't we help them understand and define empathetic AI in a way that does not rely on marketing language?
Whew. Well, I think there's a whole realm of AI. So for the audience that may not have spent as much time as you and I have, AI started World War I, World War II, right? It was processing, natural language processing, signal processing, trying to figure out what the enemy was doing and teletyping and so forth. And so a lot of the math has been around for a long time. I'm sure NASA used a lot in the space program. And yet the big problem with this idea of neural networks was the fact you had to have so much training data to train something to understand things in a kind of a more natural way. And so that kicked in only about 10 years ago, right? Like maybe even 8 years ago, it got successful. Um, so, empathy AI is a few things. One, empathetic AI can be and will be types of the technology evolving to improve, that mechanism, that synaptic mechanism that trains technology to be more empathetic. And so again, it's one of these topics you could talk at it in different ways, but I also consider it a kind of a business topic, a conceptual topic, where AI is a technology. We're applying all sorts of technologies to business and organizational relationships and our personal relationships for that matter. And we can choose to be efficient. We can be profit oriented. We can also be empathetic, right? And so we like to think of what we do. I tell people our product's not AI. We use AI to develop more. We kind of rehumanize brands by connecting them with their communities. And so to me, the core message of empathetic AI right now is all about how am I using AI? How am I applying these technologies? How am I considering, the validity of the responses coming from it, and then applying that in a way that's kind of humanized and me considering others.
Now, if you don't mind, Andy, for those again, for those who are not familiar with the topic, again, we get like a 5,000 new viewers every week on the channel. So, what is an emotional scores? What are they? And what is an emotive persona? And how are they being used now?
Wow. Okay, now we're in the core. So we've all heard of generative AI, right? So let's go back about 6 years ago. There was something called BERT and Elmo, and I won't go into all the details, but what happened, I was talking about training data, and the problem was small companies like ours just didn't have the ability to acquire enough training data to actually train a model. And a large language model was called a transformer because you could transform the very end of that model, the last couple layers, and teach it your domain, what you were trying to accomplish. And the rest was trained more semantically, like using Wikipedia data and teaching. Like I tell people, like Jack and Jill went up the hill, but it learns what Jack and Jill is, and the king and queen had a castle. Like it starts to learn male, female, and it's vector analysis, right? So the math starts to understand the relationships of words. Then I come back and using that knowledge it already has and say, okay, let me teach you emotional scores. And what I do